What would happen if Sonic.EXE was no longer a god? Have you ever asked yourself if you would be the same if your life was taken away? That's what the absolute DC universe intends to ask. What if you had taken core aspects that made heroes who they were away? And I thought to myself, well, damn, this is such an interesting idea. Seriously, go read these books. They are on par with current mangas. You will not be disappointed. Okay, what would that look like with Sonic.EXE? That was my natural progression in thoughts, really, because I genuinely love Sonic.EXE. It's been one of my favorite creepypastas as a kid. And in case you don't know anything about Sonic.EXE, here's a little recap. Basically, Sonic, blood, splatter splatter, killed everybody, and now he has 1 million fans. He's really that guy, if you think about it. Though in all honesty, it is hard to imagine a world without this red-eyed demon, considering the fact that he popularized an entire genre that, whether or not we want to appreciate it, is up for debate, but really, it's been a core aspect of internet culture that we really can't let go, whether or not we wanted to. But that made me twist my head a bit into thinking, you know, what even is Sonic.EXE? How much of it can you dissect until you don't even have the monster anymore? Because believe me, I love the fan interpretations that have been brought into the internet. Rewrite, 2011 Ats, Faker. Hell, my favorite personally is Needle Mouse. That was one of my favorite analog horrors to get into. Genuinely, I love it. Please, that's a shout out to Shut Up Jojo, who actually liked one of my TikToks, so that was cool. Actually liked a lot of my TikToks, so yeah, I'm a little famous. Solid a geek. Obviously, this made me want to make my own Sonic executable file. So, what can we do to combine my two favorite niches as of now? Make an absolute Sonic.EXE. What can we even take away from a character so bland, though? I mean, seriously, okay, tell me something about Sonic.EXE. He murders, and he's red, and he's evil. Good job! That sounds like every other f***ing evil red character ever. But, honestly, the solution was a lot easier than I thought it would be. Just take away the thing he claims himself to be. The only part of Sonic.EXE that has an identity. His godhood. But you're not here to hear me ramble on about my obsessions or fixations. You're here for the monster without a cause. So, I prepared a little story for y'all on what exactly Sonic.EXE would be like if he was not God. Enjoy! We start the story off in Green Hill Zone, as many do, with Sonic the Hedgehog zipping past every critter that reached out for a hand. He didn't have enough time to save them all. It wouldn't stop what was coming even sooner. As a blue blur continues to onset himself across the level, we find what has been causing such a storm in Sonic's morality to even choose between who to save and who not to save. A large pentagram has taken refuge above the clouds of Mobius. Demons hauling from the sky like fallen angels, feasting on the flesh of the living. Sonic didn't know how to stop the issue. He tried reaching contact with any of his friends, but couldn't get a hold of anyone. The invasion had started just as he had woken up. He dashes from enemy to enemy, tearing off the wings of some demons as they hail to try and kill him on the spot. It seemed brutal, but there wasn't room for compromise. These things weren't like any other hell spawn he had faced. These were actual Satan spawns, eating, torturing, dismembering anyone in their wake. It was so bad the seas had begun turning red from all the critters left afloat after being devoured by such foul mouths. In a minute, Sonic reaches a city, in which he begins helping with holding off the invasion. His spin dash clawing all that dared to consume flesh. But he could only watch in horror as more and more sinners from the underworld, that is Inferno, consume anything that lives. He then hears a distant calling, a loud blaring truck horn that he knew all too well. a gun truck being taken by Sonic's own friends. Tails flying his plane and holding old friends such as Mighty, Ray, Jet, Blaze the Cat, Amy Rose using her own speed alongside those of Silver, Espio, Charmy, Cream, and Cheese. The gun truck was being driven by Shadow the Hedgehog, inside more reinforcements. It was as if everyone Sonic has ever seen in his life was there, to stop the Hell invasion. It was finally time to stop whatever monster was coming, as they saw the hands of what could only be described as a god come out. Its being so transcendent that its figure can only be taken shape in the fourth dimension. That was it. Everything they had ever fought for. Everything they've ever summed up to. Once and for all. In one fight. Let it be true. 3 days later, Sonic laid on solid ground. Rubble around him as his arm, his left eye, and his right leg all torn off of him. His friends, who knows, they could have even be still alive, but his heart was giving out soon. It was odd for someone to come to such a conclusion. The very being in itself that caused such an invasion, it was the one who sat on the throne of torment, the chains of inferno, a satanic king known as Citus. The demon looks down at such a being, a malevolent creature made to be as free as the wind. He kneels down, phasing his hand through Sonic's heart. Sonic knew that he wanted to make a deal. Even at the end, he wouldn't do it. He just smiled and told him to take his best shot as he head-bumped the demon king. Citus actually felt a tremble from that one, a scratch, a feeling he hasn't felt in so long besides the chains of hell. He saw potential. The only issue about Citus is that the fact that he can't exist in his plane for long. That's the reason for this entire invasion, so that all demons can have their own vessels. And Citus needed a vessel so powerful that no one would dare come to his plane of his existence. In the fourth dimension, he sees all and knows all, but he can't experience it. It was as if he was trapped inside of a glass room, forced to watch eternity of suffering. He then says he can make a pact to protect the people he cares for. Sonic shall give up his body, and he will be using it for the good of whoever Sonic has ever cherished. But all those Sonic doesn't care for will die in his wake. Knowing that only a few select of his friends will still be left alive, Citus smiled at the idea. Being able to torment but never kill a select few cast of characters would be fun enough to fuel him for a millennia. Sonic, looking at the hollowed figure, knew something that Citus didn't know, and accepted a deal. The being, beautiful in its horror, takes the form of the planet's main hero. Someone who has taken his own life at risk multiple times for the fate of this planet, and now has done so for one final time. The heir of hell, now claiming the universe as his domain. He felt it. Such power, such energy, all of it spasming inside of himself as he wanted nothing more than to feast, to use the people's bodies, to torment their insides and drink livers. He was a deity now, unbound by any mechanisms. He was a living dead. This speed was so much for him, and he was ready for the onslaught. He was ready to consume the flesh of this planet to the bone. And so he tried. He zipped across the city and his fangs came close to the only person left at the scene, Mighty the Armadillo. He clutched himself into a ball as the very tormentor held his head, ready to feast, only to then stop. Citus couldn't move. The moment his teeth almost laid bare onto his flesh, it was as if there was a barrier or something preventing him from doing so. He tried to claw his mouth into the animal so much he almost broke his own jaw. Citus grew enraged, but reassured himself that, of course, Mighty was one of Sonic's friends, and which the vow they took was in full effect. Naturally, all he had to do was consume the flesh of another animal, a civilian nobody cared about. He found a red panda-like character, ready to consume his flesh. As he had all of Sonic's memories, he had no reason to have ever known this person. But as soon as his mouth came close to this woman, his teeth broke, shattered onto the floor. The demon started belching. He screeched out into the heavens, pounding his head against the wall until launching a punch at the woman, only to stop completely. There was a barrier around this woman as well. This was impossible, the deity thought. He zipped to the other side of the world where humans resided, trying to eat the flesh of the officer he saw just as he was crossing the golden bridge to enter a being's flesh into his own, only to then once again break his own jaw. He fell down, staring at the pentagram at the sky, his own blood depleting. This was the very reason demons needed to feast. It was their fuel to consume people. The same humans do with cattle, just a mere herd of resources. He could see a shadowed figure, a ghost like Sonic close to him, looking down at him, reminding him that he's the best there is. And the only reason he had so many at his side is because some of them were even his biggest enemies. He had never seen some people but considered them his bestest friends. This was when the beast learned of Sonic's biggest ability, his compassion. He had made a deal with someone who hated nobody. If Citus didn't eat soon, then this vessel, this being, this mortal will die. He thought to himself this was no problem. That was until he remembered the contract he had set himself. He had to let the very people he was trying to kill live. That meant the entire planet. That meant he was already failing his side of the terms, in which Sonic's body began to decay and the demon's blood started to leak. The deity was beginning to die. The only way to stop it: kill everything that is invading. Sonic looks down at his wrist, implying a watch, ticking down every soul that is tormented by Citus's wake. The demon then scrunched himself from the ground and ran as fast as he could. Everyone on the planet could feel the tides changing as he went from coast to coast. As each death ticked down his soul, he began to improvise, going from running normally to running on all fours, zooming across the planet multiple times to save all those in need. As the demon viewed Citus as their own leader, there was no problem for the fallen, but they were tricked by their own king as he feasted on their blood. Disgusting. He ran, and then he ran, and then he ran, and then until there was nothing left, his hands shivering, his mouth feasting. He had never been so full, until he finally had to calm down. He fell on his knees and watched it all. He had become a hero. Ironically, a tragedy for a demon. But he had done it. He had managed to kill every single demon from his own invasion. As he rested, he felt it. Mortality. Sonic applauded the demon, saying he really could do some good if he really tried. The demon had no time for his games and needed to return to his own dimension. There had to be a way to revert the path until they were fused into one. His teeth was already growing around the mortal's shell. His body was trying to compensate such a horror beyond reason inside. But just as soon as he tried to go back home, rising to the very portal he tried to combat to. He remembered. He remembered its own plan, and just as the portal of hell closed, just as he tried to go through it, 7 more above it started to appear, all in a row like a tower of torture. Citus looked up in horror. He had promised his 7 deadly sins a kingdom, only to find his new prison, the planet Mobius. As the invasion came down once more, he felt it. Such impossibility to save them all. He couldn't go and make his wishes anymore. He couldn't stop the contract. He was going to die on a rock floating in space. A suitable end for the air of hell. Pointless. He walked away. His shell, capable of taking only so much, but his soul, it was now dying. He was now unable to complete such a demand. He was no longer king. He walked to the outskirts, right where the welcome sign of Green Hill Zone showed. He thought about how strange people were. Just how much they desired to coexist despite being so different. Sonic explained that it's not about the differences. It's about what they do. The king smiled. He thought about how utterly ridiculous it was. As the layers of hell invaded, coming down to make deals, capture more vessels so that these demons can actually be in the living world. He knew it was only a matter of time before this planet is enslaved. Sonic looked down at his wrist again, taking it down. The time, his soul. Just then, both Sonic and Citus heard a loud rupture as a low-ranking demon takes over the body of Mighty, transforming into an almighty beast, standing 5 stories tall. His lust for destruction took form as he crushed the city with a swipe, taking his armadillo shape into a ball, plunging the towers as he ran over more and more innocents. All Citus could do was watch as he coughed up more and more blood from each individual death of these mortals. Citus thought nothing of it, though. He considered this his own end, simply walking away. But for a faint moment he heard it. He could hear the innocent's heartbeat stopping dead in his tracks. The monster sighed and lightly smiled. Who cares whether or not he dies? He's going to make no difference now. This was the core of a demon. Survival. Thus the journey of the fallen. Can a demon really be avenged? This was my very own Sonic.EXE story. If you would like more of this absolute universe Sonic.EXE, be sure to comment down below and share this around. As you can see, I have a lot more ideas in hand, but I don't want to share anything unless you guys even care about it. So please, 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 talk about your favorite things about this idea. I need you guys to stay on me, okay? If you want part 2, part 3 series, I do not care. Just please, okay? Okay. Like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm a finished God of War. Wow.